I could hear you, Sam. So.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Can barely hear Paris telling you he could hear you, Sam, but I can hear you too.
Ron freeze? Oh.
I think I've got some Russell-like lighting going on now.
I was just about to say that. You got that whole, like...
It's his birthday today, so Paris is doing a tribute.
Coach, can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
Perfect. All right, let's go. Sam, you can start us off.
Cool. Hey, Ron, when you looked over the film, what did you see?
Well, probably a little bit of the biggest problem more than anything else was just too many explosive plays. That's probably the biggest culprit of the day was we gave up opportunities to not allow those plays. Those plays should have been kept to minimal gains, and because we were out of position, they were able to exploit it.
I'm sure it's different things on different plays, but is there a through line you've seen for why those explosives keep happening, even back to last year?
No, just because it's an individual. You know what I'm saying? It's not a group. It's not schematics. It is failure to put ourselves in position to force things to happen.
Time.
Hey, before we go any further, can we get a quick update on Chase and Daniel Wise, if you have it yet?
Actually, I don't have it yet. I can tell you though, I from preliminary from yesterday conversations, Chase will probably have to go on a short-term IR minimum. Weiss, we should get a better answer when he gets back from his MRI. And Casey is in the protocol.
Okay, thank you. And then with the defense, and you talked yesterday about putting in best positions and all that. When you look at the situation you talked about, is it, when you talk about best position, is that scheme? Is that rules within a defense? Is that man versus zone? What do you see? How do you see that breakdown?
Well, when you talk about it is, we had a blitz call on the on one of the touchdowns, the one where Swift falls down, and could we have called a coverage? Yeah, but we're kind of hoping maybe we can get him and knock him out of field goal range or make it a little bit longer field goal. And when you watch the tape like we do, we had a guy that didn't cover his guy. If our guy goes and hugs up on Swift with the way that ball was thrown, like he should have, there's a chance we could have intercepted it, knocked it down, or made the tackle immediately, and they'll have to try and kick a field goal anyway. So, so it's like I said, we could have sit there and played a safe coverage, a zone coverage underneath, or we could have been aggressive, try to knock them back a little bit further, which we did. And unfortunately, we have one guy who did not do his job.
And then on the other side of the ball, the run game, when you look back and watch it today, what did you feel were the issues early on in being unable to establish them?
Well, I think, first of all, we went too many 3 and outs initially. So I think when that happens, you don't get a chance to establish much because we really didn't get into a rhythm. We got it going in the second half, mostly because we were having success throwing the ball. And then we had a little success running it, which made our play actually a little more effective. And it's unfortunate, that we didn't get an opportunity to control it earlier. I mean, if you go back and you could play, just one half of football, I'd love to just play the second half because, unfortunately we won that, but we didn't win the game.
Nikki.
Thank you.
Hi, Ron. The O-line, I mean, usually they've been stout. They've held up despite injuries and rotation. It looked like something was off of that front group in the first half. Were you able to glean anything from the tape?
To be honest with you, Nikki, basically what you said, they were off in the first half. I think we missed a protection. We missed a couple of run blocks. And got to give them credit on one in particular. They were able to cover pretty doggone well. And we didn't have time to throw the ball.
And then going back to the defense, do you feel like this group, the system, everybody is able to adjust on the fly as they need?
I think there's some things that we're still learning and working through. Because the adjustments that we worked on in OTAs, mini camp and training camp, and there's a couple of things that we got to get corrected. But more so than anything else, like I said, the hard part was this game came down to 6 explosives. It's that old thing that this game's going to come down to 6 plays you make or you don't make. Well, there were 6 plays they made on their offensive side alone that really gave us trouble. And again, as I said, to me, I'm not sure if I would put as much on schematics as much as I would, some of the things that we got to do better.
Parrish?
Hey, Ron. One area you guys are really better at is on third down on defense. I'm wondering, are you kind of surprised that you guys are struggling the way you are when you are so much better on third down? Is it just explosives or is there something else going on?
Well, what I am struggling with, Matt, is that we've allowed explosive plays. That's the biggest thing. Because you can't take them away. But if you're going to allow them, then this type of game we're going to end up playing.
And Ross St. Brown yesterday said that that the Lions knew that you guys didn't handle bunches really well. I'm wondering if you kind of agree with that assessment, and is there something that you'd like to clean up there in particular to maybe that formation?
Well, we gave up one big long pass play.
Okay.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's all I can say on the matter. I mean, we
Sure.
we gave up one long, right? I mean,
Yeah.
am I right on that? I'm right on that, right, Sean? We only gave up one long pass play. So, I mean, we were, 30% on third down. I mean, honestly, it comes down to, and you look at it, their first long pass, yeah, we screwed up a coverage there, and it was a bunch formation. On their first long run, we misfit the gap. We got scooped. We didn't fall back. We didn't get over the top. And he was off to the races. I mean, so that's the sad part about it. That's the hard part for us as players and coaches, that you look at it, and you can sit there and say, man, we could have held those plays to minimum. It's like the jet sweep. We could have honestly held that play to a minimum, but we didn't because of one reason or another.
All right. And quickly, just with Chase going on IR, Wes Schweitzer's here, that's your backup center. Would it be Wes Martin, or is Sadiq ready to play center? What do you see for that spot?
Well, right now it's Wes Schweitzer with Wes Martin backing him up, yes, and Sadiq Charles is the emergency, and we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you.
Ben?
As well as John Toth as another guy we could pop up.
Go ahead, Ben.
Hey, Ron, I hope you can hear me okay. Just curious your thoughts on the run defense now that you got to look at it again, specifically where you said yesterday, just in general, things are not always obvious. So I'm just curious what you saw with the run defense, and is there something that isn't obvious to you about why it's not been working?
Well, first one was on their first long run. Again, we got scooped, two-headed if you want, which basically means one of our D linemen got knocked out of his gap. One of our linebackers didn't fall back like he should have, and one of our safeties didn't get to his spot. And those are just things that we have to do. We can't count on one guy to make the play. And then as I said, the jet sweep, we got cracked, and, we were trying to match that guy, and we didn't replace like we should have. So, to me, it's a matter of getting those little intricacies done.
Okay, and in terms of just the defense overall, you said you thought it wasn't so much schematics as it was just guys just need to do their job. Obviously, sometimes that can mean maybe look at different personnel to get that job done. You did make some changes at linebacker a little bit yesterday. Do you foresee anything else coming up here this week, or is that just got everybody in the starting lineup just has to tighten up?
Well, basically what we're going to do is we're going to try and match our defense to what our opponents are trying to do offensively, schematically, and personnel wise.
Pete,
In sticking with the linebackers, when you say yesterday that we're running out of time in regards to Jamin's play, I'm just wondering what you mean by that, or if there was any sort of expanding you can do on that comment.
No, just the biggest thing is we got to continue to grow and develop.
As for Dax Milne, the kickoff returns, he brought one out of the end zone. I'm wondering what the teaching point is there, the coaching point. Is that something where there's a certain distance in the end zone you want him to kneel it? Is that something you have to address with him?
So that first one was 2 yards deep in the end zone. The big thing to understand on that one, you got to give them a little credit. They did something a little different. And when they would go down and they were crossing their guys. Secondly, the second thing that happened was they, one of their guys was special teams guy, got elevated to starter because they had to put one of their starters down, which meant they inserted a new player. And so we were trying to figure out where that guy fit in their scheme. And unfortunately, we didn't get him blocked. The next time we took the ball out on the kickoff return, we took it to the 29. That's because we now knew where this guy was lined up and how we had to play him. So once we did that, we got out to the 29. Then we came out in the second half on the opening kickoff, same thing, and took it out to the 35. So I guess what I'm telling you is that Pete, you got to give them credit for that. You know what I'm saying? But we were able to adjust to it. Then we took one out to the 29-yard line, and then we took one out to the 35. So, that's what happened on that. Based on, if you watch that last one that we got out to the 35, that was one more step away from probably going the distance, if not out to half to midfield. That did help energize us because on that series we scored a touchdown. So we got a little bit of energy from Dax returning the kickoff.
So as far as him catching it in the end zone, not kneeling, you're fine with that as long.
Well, again, Pete, with discretion obviously being the better part of valor, that thing's 4,
right,
5, 6 yards deep, I would like to believe he's going to kneel it down or not even try to catch it. For the most part, he let those go over the top of his head that were definitely going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 yards deep. Just so happens that the one that was 2 yards deep, he took out. And unfortunately, they had a guy out there that we did not know how to account for. And if you block him, yeah, we probably get it out to the 25. If you don't block him, that's what happened. And we didn't block him. And again, whether you want to, put that on scheme or whatever, you can put that on us as coaches, just saying at that point we're guessing because, there was nothing to go off of based on anything other than, his jersey number.
Phillips.
Yeah, one of the themes coming out of the game seemed to be just tipping your hat to the Lions that they were ready for everything you guys had. And I'm just wondering when you start a game like that and you sense the other team's on it, how long does it take to kind of bounce back and regroup from that?
Well, I give them a lot of credit in terms of, they played with some emotion and they played with some excitement. They made a couple of plays happen. We didn't do the things that we were supposed to, and lo and behold, we're down 22 points. So for this game, I like to say that when we went into halftime, we made a couple adjustments, had a little conversation with the players, and came out and played pretty well at that point. So unfortunately, for us, it's a game of two halves. You can't play that first half like we did. The unfortunate part is when we had some opportunities, we didn't take advantage of them. When you watch some of the stuff on tape and you see it, and you see that we had a chance to get a turnover early, and we didn't complete the play. We had a chance to get the ball out, and we just didn't have the time. Those are some things that you sit there and just look at and just feel that's disappointing.
I'm good, thank you.
Darren, you got one?
Hey, Ron. This actually kind of comes from a conversation with my mother, who was like a teacher. And when you talk about some of the individuals on maybe some of the mistakes that they make and they're not in the right position, what's like the extreme thing like you could do as a coach to help these players out? Because every individual is different. Everyone learns at a different level to make sure they are ready when it comes down to Sunday.
No, and that's a good point, Darren, because, we try a lot of different things. We have different teaching and coaching techniques that you try to use. Everything from, just your general basic meeting to using videos to providing them with notes. We have stuff that we put on the iPad. We go through walkthroughs. We give them tests. We go through a variety of different teaching techniques that we try to get through to these guys. And, sometimes just through the heat of the battle, certain things happen during a play, and, sometimes it's just being a step late or going too quickly. And, it's frustration is more so than anything else is, like I said, to me, it goes back to those 6 explosive plays, which in each and every case, if we had done certain things, and I said, and I did say too, even if we might have called something differently, those 6 plays, I don't think hurt us as badly as they did.
Got time for 2 more.
Ron, kind of along those lines, I'll just ask it straight up. Do you feel like players are putting in enough time and studying it and really grasping the playbook each week or the game plan each week?
I'd like to believe so, because I thought some of the things they did last week, with the exception of a couple of explosive plays, were pretty good. But I would say this, there are a lot of young guys on that football field for us. If you go through the list, you'll see that is a young group of guys, and they're still learning and growing. They're going to make mistakes. We had to battle through a few injuries on the defensive side, especially in the front. We went from 8 guys available to 6. No, actually, I take that back. We went from 9 guys available to down to 7. So the big thing is, when you're playing young guys, you're gonna have to work through some mistakes.
Last one.
Hey, Rod, after the game, Derek Forrest talked about, somebody asked him about like some of the troubles in the first half, and he said that it seemed like they knew what you guys were in. It was great offensive play calling. And you kind of answered some of this, I guess, but curious if you had any thoughts on his comment.
I don't think that. I think what happened more so than anything else was we missed some opportunities to make plays.
Go ahead, Sam. Last one.
Ron, you've always said you're an optimist. You do seem a little troubled by the explosive plays. Are you optimistic that you guys will be able to figure this out? I guess, where are you at in terms of looking forward?
Well, I'd like to think we're still looking forward, Sam. Because if I didn't think we could stop big plays, explosive plays, then we definitely would be in trouble. But to me, when they get down to that detailed of what we do, then that's where we just got to continue to work it and make sure that we all understand it, we all know it, and we'll go from there.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Rob.
Do me a favor.